welcome to On the Capo Stand. Happy Monday evening, everybody. I know it feels like it's 11 o'clock at night, but that's only because daylight savings time is over. And so, welcome once again. Ahmed Salim here, your host, alongside the usual cast of characters, Misael Rosa, John Wiedner, and the infamous David Valentin. How are you gentlemen doing on this fabulous all teeth Audi 2024 MLS Cup playoff week?
Good.
Doing all right. We're all a little poor today because we had to pay the tickets for Saturday, but
Yeah, that's a whole other conversation. Honestly, I sometimes think to myself, are they doing this to force all of that? But I don't want to go there. So,
we'll go there later. Trust me,
yeah,
I'm gonna go
there. I know. So, just a quick rundown. Thank you for everybody that's watching us live. As usual, we are live on Facebook, on YouTube, on Twitch, and on X today. That's a hit and miss. But you can follow us on Instagram, X, Facebook, Twitch, TikToks, Threads, Blue Sky, Apple Podcast, and Spotify as On the Capo Stand, and YouTube at Davis Channel 76. So before we get into the meat of the of the evening, let's catch up a little bit on things going around with the organization. So Orlando Pride, they are taking on their first rivals for the playoffs this Friday at 8 p.m. at Inter&Co Stadium. Gentlemen, would you happen to know who they are playing? Because Chicago. I had it and I can't find it right now.
Chicago.
And they will be playing Chicago. Yes, Friday, November 8th at 8 p.m. So please come out and support them. We're hoping that they have a very, very strong run in these playoffs. I think everybody is looking forward to that. Any thoughts on the playoffs for the Pride, gents?
Yeah, I mean, I wish them luck. I'm gonna be there. They have actually a deal going on. There's a link. If you purchase a ticket for this Friday, if they advance to the next round, they will give you that ticket for free. And
Now,
they're as
is that
low
only
as
if you're a
$15,
season ticket
$20.
holder? Is that only if you're a season ticket holder, or
No, that's anybody.
See, now that's how you do it. That's how you do it.
Yeah, it's on the Instagram. I saw it on the Instagram. You can go to the links. The link that they have a couple things on there, but it'll say like "We win, you win." I think it's called what they're promoting. And yeah, like I said, I think it's $20 supporters and $20 in the upper level, the 100 levels. And yeah,
I can't get over that
next round. Yeah.
I just can't get over those ticket prices, honestly. Because if anybody that's listening obviously has been to the stadium, there's not a bad seat in the house. So for $20, wow.
And you can get the next round if they win. Yeah.
Dude, man. I can't make it on Friday because I'm gonna be heading out to Tampa for one of my son's games, but I might just do that just for the sake of having the tickets. It'll be awesome.
Oh, I thought you were gonna say you were gonna go to Tampa to camp outside the Buck Stadium for February, but
listen, you buy them, you donate them.
Go there, man. Come on, bro.
You buy them, you donate them, and then you enjoy the fruit of having those things.
I'm gonna try to do that. That's a wonderful idea. All right, so good luck to the Pride. Good luck to the Pride. Any other news, gentlemen, we want to talk about? I think the David, you had brought it up.
The friendly in Tampa that's going to be next year.
You know, I don't even know. I when I saw that email come out, I texted you all, and John just posted. He responded to my text, and he was like, "I laughed when I saw it. I just couldn't believe it. We're not even done with the playoffs." Right. And maybe that's why they're doing it, because we're not done with the playoffs. Right. We're not even done with the playoffs. We're like barely a few weeks out of the season, and they're posting, about this joke of a game that's all for all marketing purposes in Tampa, where we are supposed to be taking
Friday
on
at 7:30.
We're supposed to be taking on the Pink Flamingos. With their merry band of characters, whoever decides to show up. My wife was like, "He's not gonna show up."
No way.
Absolutely not.
Isn't Raymond James turf anyway?
It
You know
is,
what? I don't know. That's a good question.
I'm not
grass.
sure.
It
It's
is
grass
grass.
mat.
I think it's grass.
Yeah.
Maybe we can get them to put in some turf for
Check
that.
it out,
Because
mira,
I know a lot of the
I'm checking
NFL
it out as
stadiums
well.
anymore are the artificial turf, so I wasn't exactly sure.
But
I'm
look
hearing
at
it
this.
from a
You're
source.
gonna
I'm
have
hearing it
to.
from a source in my house over here that it's artificial turf. So you
That's
might
what
be
I was
right, John.
thinking.
I remember clearly that it was grass. So if it has changed, boo-hoo. Think about it. It's Friday. You're gonna fight through all that traffic by Champions Game,
After
and
work.
then all that
I'm not
traffic in
gonna fly through that
Tampa.
traffic.
I'm just
I ain't
saying,
going.
whoever decides from Orlando to go down there, and then Raymond James is not in the one of the best of neighborhoods, and you go and probably see the C version of Inter Miami. There, Messi's not gonna be there, and as far as the rival or whatever, look, it is what it is. It's just a cash grab. Maybe the people of Tampa will finally see quality football because I mean they're used to that travesty that is the Tampa Bay Rowdies. So they probably see, and then decide to follow one of the MLS teams in in this state. To me, it's a win-win for both teams. They get to go to what is a great territory and try to steal some fan base, and make a buck at it, and have the guys sweat probably the new jerseys that we're gonna get because next year we have new home jerseys. It's probably gonna be another purple boring jersey, but on the away we are knocking them out of the park. On at home, horrible.
I just hope it's not the stupid, like central, the way the crest is in the middle and everything. That's getting.
Oh,
That's
I hate
they're
those
trying to
middle of
make
the class.
popular.
No, no. You know what? You know what I would like if the football gods were blessing us to bring back the side stripe from the USL era. You guys remember that one?
Mm-hmm.
Come on now.
It's so like even though it's still considered a cash grab, is it possibly all the money that they promised him, is it possibly that they still don't have all of it and this is a way of
No,
filling that place up with 70,000
50
people?
mil, 50 mil. That we have it. Listen, what I've been told is that even with all the Pirates, have sold more jerseys, Messi jerseys, than every other player in the 27 years history of MLS. That's insane, even with piracy. So they're making the money, and like I said, they're gonna continue bamboozling people as much as they can, and to me that's great. I follow a club, not a player, so I wouldn't know the dynamic.
So I did look it up, and Raymond James Stadium is natural grass.
Oh, is it? Okay.
I mean, I figured. I mean, Florida open stadium. I mean, it'd be a disservice to put turf.
Mm-hmm. But what is it? Isn't the Orange Bowl? Is that? I thought that was artificial.
It is, and I think it's mainly because not going to spend the money on taking care of it when there's nothing really there. Only a couple times a year.
No, I mean where the Dolphins play.
Oh, well, the
Whatever
Dolphins
that's
play.
called now, yeah, Hard Rock Stadium or whatever they call
that
it.
I'm not sure. That I'm not sure. I thought you meant here.
I'm not sure.
Camping
To be
World.
honest with you, the advantages of grass versus artificial turf is that you don't have to put a lot of maintenance on it. But we live in a part of the country or the continent, we should say, where it rains a lot and it's very inexpensive to take care of. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, that the stadium for the Panthers slash Charlotte FC used to be natural grass, and it was ripped in favor of the artificial, which is a travesty. But one of the things that you should know is that an afterthought here for many people is that because the World Cup is going to be played in the United States, all those artificial surfaces are going to be eliminated in favor of grass. And the NFL Players Association is saying that, hey, if we are doing this for these guys, why not do it for us? Because they are already finding out there's a lot of CTE related injuries due to the fact that the surface is hard. It's a carpet over concrete. It's insane.
Well, it's not. It's not even CT. Well, it is. That has something to do with it, but it's also I think it was Julian Edelman's podcast, maybe. But they were talking about the difference, or it could have been the color. It was some retired football player talking about the difference between playing on grass and playing on artificial turf, and just the way your body felt. I mean, they said it's night and day. They said, grass a couple days later and your joints stop hurting, and they said turf would take, basically up until game day.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it is what it is. It's just irks me that the league said that they were going to use Messi to grow the game in the country, and yet again they lied, and all they're doing is growing their pockets. And if the league thinks that they had it rough with the fan base when Messi and company came, wait until Neymar magically signs with Miami in January.
Come on, do you really think that's gonna happen, man?
It wouldn't surprise me. Same way Gareth Bale signed
doubt.
out with LAFC a couple seasons ago.
Yeah, but come on. I mean,
wouldn't
listen,
doubt. I
if that's the
wouldn't doubt.
case, he's gonna spend more time injured than playing. Come on.
Still making his money.
Yeah, I guess.
We had some comments. If you don't mind reading those.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I'll bring them up. Maybe Misael, you could read them. Here we go.
Carlos Nieto says going back to back this week. Vamos Orlando Pride.
Carlos,
He
we'll have to
also
hear from
says
you, brother.
Messi will be on vacation. I guess
Yeah, there you
during the
go.
preseason game.
He already is. He has been a non-factor in the playoffs. Non-factor.
Come on, David. Give the man some credit. I mean,
That
what
man
isn't
deserves
he
to
like
be
the
on
team? Is he the oldest guy on the team?
No, I believe it's isn't
Busquets?
Busquets older than him?
Yeah. Those two deserve to just be on a nice, comfy chair. In fact, my sources tell me that the next Messi round of commercials is gonna be Lazy Boy. He's gonna be the Lazy Boy. You know what I'm saying? Like, go to the playoffs and do nothing, and then he's and spend the afternoon, reading a nice book
until he sees our kid across from him.
Exactly. Let that man rest. I feel so sad. I mean, he's peddling lows and Michelob Ultra. I mean, like, nothing but crappy things I don't care about. You would think that he will be putting his name on football products, but he's just going after that Gen X, dad bod type of guy. I don't know.
That Lay's commercial is one of the most pathetic commercials I've ever seen too. Even without him in it, that commercial would still irritate me.
You know what's funny? Like, and we can move on after this, but I haven't seen anybody do a commercial and do so little in the commercials. If you think of the two commercials, the one, the Lay's commercial, he basically says nothing, and then in the other one, he says like 3 words.
But there's one that he's playing like football on the field on the beach, isn't he?
That's the Michelob Ultra one. And then the beer runs out, and he says, "No, Michelob Ultra." Literally, that's what he says, and that's it. And then he goes.
I gotta say something. You will never catch David Valentin with a Michelob Ultra in his hand. Might as well drink water with 3 drops of urine in it. I'm sorry. That's me.
Oh my god. Anyway, all right. So moving on, because we could do this all night. David just walked away. I was gonna bring up the city posted about an incident with a former Lion, Mishak Jerome. David, if you have any insight on that, that would be great.
For sure. For those that don't know him, and to the guy that saw me online to get my scarf signed by Luke Bowden and Jamie Watson, and then dismissively say nobody knows who those people are while wearing a hat with the USL logo and the New Jersey. A guy that I looked deep in his eyes and said, "Those men will never pay for a beer in this town." That guy. So I have to say, listen, if you missed the USL era, I'm not shaming you. It did. Michel Jerome was a center back for Orlando City 2011, 2012. So he's a champion in 3 ways, because we won the regular season championship in 2011 and also the championship in 2011. Also in 2012, we win the regular season championship, and unfortunately, in the quarterfinals, we couldn't get all the way. But remember, by a lot of fans, including myself, as a gentleman on and off the pitch. He's been playing with Union Omaha in USL League One. For those that don't know, that's our third division here in the United States. And unfortunately, it seems like him and a relative were working on a stove or a heater. Now that it's getting cold up there, and the thing ignited, throwing fuel in flames, and they got burned pretty bad. So I wanna not only extend our send our prayers and our thoughts to a steward of this club, somebody that put his brick on the wall, but also to the Union Omaha fan base that that he was a key part of that team reaching the playoffs. And at this point, my understanding is they are going to be playing in the final, uh, and they're just waiting for their opponent. So that's it. Unfortunate situation. My apologies. You guys know who's back here. And that's pretty much it.
Thank you, David. Thank you. All right. So moving on to the fun. Yeah. So not too long ago, it feels like it's been forever. We went out to Charlotte for game 2 of what a lot of us thought should have been the last of 2 games. I hate to be right, but I said, don't count out Charlotte, right? And I'll just put my opinion here from now. The playoffs, you never know what's going to happen during the playoffs. I always say this. And, when we talk about the playoffs later, I think with the other games that we've seen, there have been a lot of upsets, we'll call it that. When we looked at our game 1, I thought that we were not playing like a team who was going to make it very far. Watching the game that we played, this last game that we played against Charlotte, really, really worries me, because that should have been, for all purposes and with all due respect to Charlotte, it should have been an easy win for us. And I felt like the team was very lackadaisical. Like they were just, I don't know. There wasn't like a sense of urgency, and it was scary, because the thing about it is, this is the easy part of our playoff. Like it only gets harder from here. So how do we play a game for 90 minutes? I don't know how long it was till we had our first shot on goal, but I think altogether we had like 3 or 4 shots the whole game.
Only 3.
3.
One on target.
Minutes, 90 minutes, 3 shots. And you know what? The days are behind us where we can say we've never been defeated through PKs, because that ended last season, right? Wasn't it the
this season?
Leagues Cup? It was the Leagues Cup, right? Against Cruz Azul.
Cruz Azul, yeah.
So that's no longer a factor, because even during the U.S. Open Cup, we had a couple of games where we went and it was playoffs. I mean, it was PKs and we were good. So we're past that stage. We can't go 90 minutes, not 3 shots on goal. Like, give me a break. We don't
3 shots, 1 on target, and the 1 on target was in the 82nd minute.
We did not want it. And I'm not saying the guys didn't want it. If you were watching that game, had no idea of anything about Orlando City or Charlotte, you would have been like, they don't want it. They're not. It was just something was missing. Something was missing the first game. Don't get me wrong, because I said we won, but we were not playing like a team that's going to take these playoffs and go all the way. This just, I hate to say it, reinforced my fears, because it was downward from where we went. Like if I gave us a B for the first game, this would be a C or a D performance, right? And I get it. It happens. Stuff happens, whatever the case may be. But we don't have all season to do this. We don't have all season to gel. We have 3 games. And at this point, 3 games is doing us a favor, because if this were any other playoff, we'd be screwed. Right? So I'll leave it at that, because I could talk for hours. So, John, what are your thoughts, my friend?
5 goals in 6 matches. That's how many goals we scored in the playoffs the last 4 seasons. 2021. I'm sorry, 2021. We did score against New York, but then we didn't score in the next round. 2022, we scored 1 goal against Nashville. 2023, we didn't score against Columbus, and we scored 1 goal apiece against Nashville. And then we had 2 goals 2 weeks ago. It's not good enough. I mean, I saw people on social media say it's a one-off night, and that the boys will regroup and they'll come back, and Poppy's saying, oh, we want to be more attacking throughout the game, and this and that and the other. But you look at what Poppy's teams have done in the playoffs, nothing leads you to believe that this team is going to be attacking come Saturday. I mean, what we saw Friday was a mirror image of how we lost to Columbus. Mirror image how we lost, was it Montreal, I think, the year before? I could be wrong. But whoever we lost to the year before was a mirror image of that. Mirror image of how we lost in the second round in 21. And the Nashville game, it was very similar. If it wasn't for us having, a budding superstar in Daryl DK, we wouldn't have scored at all that match. So I have very little faith going into Saturday. Friday, unfortunately, didn't surprise me. This is what could have happened and should have happened when we won the U.S. Open Cup. That's why David and I, or I think all 4 of us have actually said it, that we lucked our way into that U.S. Open Cup, because most of the matches we played were played exactly like this. And what were we told coming to the end of this year? Oh, this team can score goals. This team can score goals. This team can score goals. Yeah, they set the club record for most goals scored in the season. So what? It matters what you do in the playoffs. It matters what you do in finals. And this team, since Poppy has been here, hasn't shown that we can score goals in the playoffs. Cool, we scored 3 goals in a final against a lower league team that we were supposed to easily handle, and waited until eventually just the raw athleticism of more athletic players paid off, and we won. We weren't, up until the freak athlete that Benji Michel's in, we didn't score anything. So, I guess, if somebody wants to come at us and say, well, we scored 5 against New York Red Bulls, cool. That was one game. Every team has a one-off game. But Friday was not a one-off game for us. That is the status quo for how Poppy plays playoff games. He wants to leave it up to an essential coin toss and penalty kicks, and that's what you get. Me and David said last year, constantly, you leave it to penalty kicks, eventually you're going to lose. Our run of, 10-0 or 11-0 and penalties was, nobody's ever done that. I would be willing to bet there is no team to go 10-0 and penalties. And I would, I'm trying to contain my emotions, because I was absolutely livid on Friday night that the team came out, played not to lose instead of playing to win. And that showed that when you go in with that mentality, which, yes, people, that is a coaching philosophy when you go into a game like that. Maybe a couple guys may have that, and you can say, no, it's just, a couple guys on the team. But when an entire team goes out and looks as lethargic and lazy and uninterested in being there as those players did, I'll just leave it at that before I get too upset, because it just blows my mind.
Agreed. And before I pass it on, when, to your point about the one-off games happen, right? But I think last week I said the playoffs are like, it's all new. It's square one. It's like payback time for all those things that didn't happen during the regular season. You don't get one-off games. The only reason we get a one-off game right now is because we're in this stupid format of the best of 3. If
Yeah, I was
this were
just about
any
to
other
say.
playoff, regular playoff, that one-off game would have cost us the position. We'd be out now. We would have been done. That would have been it. Right?
And one thing I do have to add is anybody want to say, well, we did put the ball in the back of the net, but it was called outside. The ref screwed us again. Maybe if we would have went 60 minutes without a shot on goal and actually put one in the back of the net for 2/3 of the first 2/3 of the game, that outside wouldn't have mattered.
Now you're just talking crazy, John. Now you're just talking crazy. Isael, what are your thoughts, Ben?
I mean, you guys pretty much touched on it. It was embarrassing, pathetic. It's just like John said, it was more of, playing not to lose instead of to win. Um, I get the whole one off thing is just like you said. I was gonna touch on the same thing where we're just lucky that this is the best out of three. If we had that first game when we won last week, if that was our round one and this was quote unquote our round two, like you just said, then we'd be out. You can't have an off night in the playoffs. That doesn't exist. Like I just said, luckily best out of three. But if we get past this series, you can't use that excuse anymore.
Yeah.
Is you just can't have an off night. Um so yeah, I mean we can go all day with this.
Yeah.
I don't know if David
Well,
you want to
I
touch
know
on it?
David's Sigma sale, but like an off night is to me, it's just not being your night. Is you're peppering the shots and they're just not hitting the frame. That's one thing, and then the other team gets a fluke goal or you lose in penalties. But yeah, we dominated possession. But I didn't look it up, but I bet you look at our passing chart where our run of play mainly was. It was in our defensive half. I mean, how many times did Johnson and Schlegel just knock the ball back and forth between each other? There was no middle penetration. Charlotte knew all they had to do was stop our wingers from going, put a man between them and the goal line, and they were turning around and knocking the ball backward. And that's, it's the same thing that we've been talking about this year and last year. Our wingers, if they have somebody between them and the goal line, they're not going to drive or try to do something with it. Especially Facundo Torres, his first thing, there's a man there. Let me turn around and knock it backward. Be a winger, be an athlete, be a soccer player. Take somebody on. Like,
listen,
I'd rather see somebody be aggressive occasionally and get the ball taken away from them than knock it backwards and lose the ball on our defensive half.
These complaints, John, are evergreen. Every year we say the same thing, and unfortunately, things don't go our way. We said it that the fan base was going to be a factor. People that went to the game said the place was bananas. Of course it was. It's a football stadium. You can sell the tickets very cheaply, just like we used to do in the Citrus Bowl. Sell for $20, fill the stadium, and then then you have the 12-man there for the boys. Just like John said, if you're gonna complain about the offside, which I have contention with the way we apply the rule in MLS, then you also have to complain about the fact that we were nowhere to be seen shooting on goal. One of the things that I had a conversation, in fact, I spoke with Eddie Cruz from Orlando Lions Den today, and I was reminding him that we had a conversation years ago. I think it's like 2016, 17, where we said one day this success that we have in the PKs is going to come back, because all streaks, good or bad in football, come to an end, my friend. And now, funny that on year 14, we have failed to pass in important tournaments, the champions, and now in playoffs, we failed. And a player that was a consistent goal scorer like Robin Jansen has failed 2 PKs. Shocking. And I have to say that our boy won. Duncan McGuire is not good at taking PKs. And it's something that if I were him, I will be practicing. Taking good PKs, it's something that is an asset in the arsenal of a good player. We saw this year has been a year of first, because we saw how Facundo Torres failed his first PK ever in his career since like U7s. What I have to say, yeah, it was a one-off. But when you're set up to play defensively from the get-go, I mean, we were playing in our own half for most of the game. In fact, I felt that they should have refunded the folks on the opposite side of the pitch because they only got to see half the game. So one of the things that we have to say here is, personally, I'm a fan of the top 6 make playoffs and one-off 3 weeks.
100%.
Because right now, whatever happens this Saturday, the league takes a break until the 23rd of November, friends, for international duty. Exactly. That's right.
And that 23rd, and that 23rd, we don't know if we're playing.
Right, and we don't know if we're playing.
Yeah,
And
it could be 24th, 25th.
Right, exactly. If we make it.
If we make it, yes. Yeah,
if we make it. So then we're gonna, to me, like I said, when I speak with other fans of other teams, I'm not Mr. Legendary David from Twitter. I actually talk to them like I'm talking to you guys, because it's in our best interest that the league is successful, that is fruitful, and that football continues to grow in this country if we are ever going to have a quality league. So, to the fans of Miami, the fans of Atlanta, we have common interests. It's for us to say, hey, for 90 minutes, we're going to be rivals. The rest of the time, we're going to be cool with each other, and we should. One of the things here is that this kills the momentum. Imagine if you were watching a game of football, and on the 90th minute, we took a 2-week break. Are people going to come back to it? Are people going to feel the same way? No. And that's what we're doing here. We're diluting the excitement. What makes March Madness, NBA Finals, the MLB, I can't remember the name of the championship.
The World Series?
The World Series, thank you. Which is only played in one country, but it's the World Series. So what makes all those sports incredible, it's making the getting excited. But we are, first of all, making the first round 3 games, which, by the way, I love all the Pepsi fanboys asking what's going on. We don't know. 3 games. Then we take a 2-week break, and by the time he comes back, if your team is not in the playoffs,
like a new season. It's like a new season.
Right? You don't care, and quite honestly, it's hard to like turn the engine on when it has been cold for 2 weeks. It's moronic. It's stupid. We should get done with that. But
because
to go back to the situation with Orlando, this Saturday we gotta win. If you look at Atlanta did this past weekend something that Orlando City cannot dream to do: beat Miami in regular time, score goals against Miami. I want to remind this fan base that we have not scored a single goal against Miami this season.
Let me tell you, Atlanta deserves to move forward based on the way I've seen. That's what it is. That's really what it is. It's like you watch a team like Atlanta play, or when we talk about the rest of the playoffs, these teams that are doing these upsets, they're playing like they want it. Like they want it, not in 2 weeks from now. They want it today. Atlanta, those 2 games, that first game they lost, that was being cruel and unpredictable because it was just
surrender the microphone.
Yeah.
This is important. Atlanta's doing it without DPs, with an interim manager, without a VP of soccer operations. I mean, I think the only person that is there from the glory days of Atlanta United is probably the kid manager. I guarantee you, it's probably the kid manager. I have to tell you guys, Rob Valentino. Listen, I'm the last guy that will want to see a second star above the Atlanta crest. But Rob Valentino, Orlando City legend in the USL era, founding assistant manager of OCB in the championship when we were there for 2 years, 2016, 2017. That man nobody gave him the credit, and he has transformed them boys into machines. The fact of the matter, friends, that let's say we eliminate Charlotte, as we should, but football is cruel and unpredictable, and they go and do the business in South Florida. We may see Winter Park's own legendary Dax McCarthy quite possibly eliminate his hometown team in Orlando. Dax McCarthy is probably one of the best football players to ever come out of Orange County, Florida. And sadly, he never got to wear the Orlando City colors. But Dax McCarthy, a man that end of his career. But guys, if you saw, I watched that game. Dax McCarthy is on fire. Please tell me if we have a player in Orlando City colors right now that wants to run through walls like Brad Guzan. Please tell me. Please tell me, because we don't have it. Nani left, and it seems like Nani took all the testosterone of this club with him.
I don't know, but I'll tell you what. I know Pesci has a picture of Brad Guzan on it at home, and he's throwing darts at it right now because that guy has ruined his last 2 games.
I will say we do have one guy, David. I will say Janssen is that one guy that I feel like always brings the energy.
Mm-hmm.
And you can say Schlegel does too, as stupid mentally as, decision wise he may be. But both of those guys do bring it. But, it just comes the penalties. I knew going into the penalties we were going to lose because of the mentality that the players had the entire match until the last 5-10 minutes of the match. When you set yourself up, and I wish I knew a more eloquent way to say it. When you set yourself up not to do something, you're going to do that thing. It's just like, if you're sitting there the entire time going, oh, my life sucks, my life's miserable, I'm no good at anything, you're never going to accomplish anything. Realize the people that accomplish things are the ones that have very positive self-talk.
Mm-hmm.
And if the players are going in with the mentality, oh, we just don't need to lose. Let's just get to PKs. We don't need to lose. That's not the. How many times do you see in other sports? I'm basically just saying basketball because it's really the only other sport in America that you have that's as free flowing as soccer is. Do you see a team come back from, a double digit deficit, and all of a sudden the team that was winning starts to play extremely passive and they end up losing? That's exactly what we did on Saturday. Or to take an American football analogy, it's like being up by 2 scores going into the 4th quarter and only playing a prevent defense.
Mm-hmm.
You have to attack. You have to enter matches in this sport with the intent to score goals.
Absolutely.
Score goals and defend, and you're going to win a lot of the majority of the games. But the worst part is from a personal level, Orlando City potentially had a golden opportunity to have a fan for life if they go out and played an exciting style of soccer like what we know they've played this year. I have a buddy that lives out in Seattle, Washington. Never cared about soccer. I think Saturday was the only Orlando City game he's turned on this season. He just turned it on because it was on.
No,
like I legitimately was apologizing to him during the first half. Like, dude, I'm sorry. He's not a soccer fan. He runs another podcast. If anybody's a Giants fan, San Francisco Giants fan, even your dynasty. If you follow the Giants, you get it. Back in 2010, 2012, they won World Series post year. I think 2008 they may have too. But anyway, like he was like, I don't like. He told me the next day we were playing video games together, and he's like, I don't know how anybody could watch that first half and want to come back and watch it again. I'm like, no, you're 100% right. That's not why I'm so mad about the way they played. But if you're playing competitive soccer and you're playing with the intent to win, you're not going to look like we did for 85 minutes of that match. And it's, and people, when we win, you have the morons on social media go, where's my Poppy out people? Where's my Poppy out people? I've said this entire season, I'm still right here until they prove me wrong, which the last, 3 seasons they haven't. Until they prove me wrong and they can play attacking, it doesn't even have to be attacking soccer.
Mm-hmm.
You can play a low block and counter, but at least counter correctly. Have an intent to score.
I'm going to say this real quick, and I mean, if we can have somebody read the comments that have piled up. The fact is, and we all know, all 4 of us, that for 50% of this fan base, the fact that we are here is already success. And they are going to go and counteract with that argument by saying he's the only manager that has taken us to the playoffs 5 years in a row. And I contend, like you said, what has been the outcome of those 5 years? What has been the outcome of those 5 years? It has not been success. Atlanta, and I hate to bring them up again, they are proving that if you are inspired and you are playing at the best of at the maximum level of your capacities, you can make it. Beating Miami is no easy feat. And then you can say, well, maybe Messi wasn't feeling it, or maybe Busquets was missing, or maybe, a bird crapped on their team bus and derailed down a mountain. What if the waves of a butterfly in Africa, change the outcome of things? I don't know. All I know is I watched a lot of football this past weekend, and ladies and gentlemen, we saw teams that went out there and got it. Red Bulls, okay? Vancouver. Those teams believe in themselves, and some of those teams went down and got back up, doing the macho man. Anybody that grew up in the 80s just got that. So don't laugh. So anyways, when they asked Macho Man in the Arsenio Hall show, have you ever cried? And he's like, absolutely. I've been down, I've been up, I've been down, I've been up, I've been down, I've been up. But I always believe when I go down that I'm going to come right back up. And that's what we have to do. Winning is a mentality, winning is a culture, winning is the belief in yourself that you can make it happen. And unfortunately, we lost. Let's just rip the Band-Aid out. We lost for whatever reason. And now we have a game coming up. Yeah. And we gotta win it. We gotta go.
Yeah, you know what? No, you're right. And I think what nobody faults them for losing. It happens. It's how you go out and how you go about it. If they went down fighting like that game that we went, that one time we played against Columbus and we were down at home and we were down and we came back and we won. If they had lost that, nobody would have blinked an eye because we were fighting like our lives were dependent on it. That's not how we were playing on Friday. We were playing like we have a third game that we could play. That's not how you're supposed to play during a playoff. Every game is your last game.
That's not how you're supposed to play sports, period.
Period. But we were playing like we had an extra game. You don't have an extra game. You don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. And guess what? As a result, we have Cartagena on a yellow. We have Janssen on a yellow. We have...
Cartagena's on 2 yellows.
Is he already on 2 yellows?
Yeah, that's why I was waiting to get back on because I want to read the comments because Jim D says that, and I wanted to talk about that.
So let's get to the cards. Yeah, we'll get to the comments.
Yeah, but it's all about how they come out. This is not about the result. This is about how we came out. We did not come out like I'm not even going to. We didn't come out like Atlanta came out against Miami. We didn't come, and that doesn't mean that we don't have to be in 9th place to come out like that. If you're a team that's coming to win, that's how you play. This coming Saturday when we play Charlotte, I expect that if anybody watching this, and whether you're Poppy in or Poppy out, thinks that we're gonna win this, we need to annihilate Charlotte. Like not win the game, annihilate them like there's dust left where Charlotte was when the game first started. That's the only way that I think any of us will feel confident that we have a chance in this. Because
Look
anything
at what
else,
happened to Columbus.
yeah, but that's what I'm saying. And that we need to come
No.
out like not to win the game, to prove something to the players and to the fans, regardless of what side of the fence you're on, because that's not how you're supposed to play a game. And to me, I can't believe I'm saying that because it's a playoff. That's the whole thing with the playoffs. This is like should be the re-energizing part. Forget what happened during the season. This is a turning a new page. Let's go and kick some ass. And guess what? This is our best. We've been the hottest team since whatever. Obviously, that doesn't mean
July 1st.
whatever. Yeah. Anyway,
and I
let's
mean,
go to the
Ahmed,
comments. Yeah.
You go back even to the MLS's back tournament, as you know, much as everybody wants to say a success it was for the club. Look at that final. We played that final, in my opinion, from what I remember. We played that final the same exact way we played Friday night or Saturday night. No, Friday night, yeah.
Right.
And you know, for the people that are happy or say that, yeah, we're in a better place, I agree with you. But there's still several more steps we can get to be in a better place. We haven't ever made a conference final. We've never made an MLS Cup final. We've never advanced. Well, this year, I guess technically we did because we played a lower division team, but we've never beat a higher division, you know, a top division team in Champions League or Champions Cup, whatever you want to call it about. There's 3 steps right there that are big mountains to climb. Don't get me wrong. They're you know, making a conference final is a feat. Making a MLS Cup final is a feat. Beating somebody that on paper is a little bit better than you, like Tigres is, because they have a much higher payroll. But it was right there for us to win last year. Yes. Did they come out in that game last year at home to win it? Yes. Did they come out this year to win it? Not from what I remember. So, you know, to say that it just kills me that people think
We're
this
not
is a
gonna
one-off.
next year either.
Yeah, it just kills. Yeah, we're not next year unless we somehow win the MLS Cup. But you know, for people that think that this is okay and this should be our basement. This should be what is the very minimum to win every year. And remember, coming into the season, this wasn't even talked about. Will Orlando get out of the first round? It was talked about, is Orlando going to win the MLS Cup? And people are sitting here acting like, oh, we made the playoffs. We're okay. We're fine. There's nothing wrong there.
I think they're going
I'll
off.
say it
by the way
again.
they
If I
started
may
the
interrupt you
season.
for a second, I want to
Right.
remind the fan base that we were favorites for Supporter Shield and MLS Cup. And what happened?
Yeah, what did happen? You know what? Let's go to the comments. Let's just go to some of the comments. Misael, I'll pop them up if you can read them.
Ray says there was no tactical plan to attack and score. That is coaching. 100% Papi's playoff special, playing scared. Yep.
Yeah, that
Sir
was Serge.
Nash.
Yeah.
And Ray again says American football analogy. Orlando was taking a knee nearly the entire game. Yeah. Jim D. Good evening, fellas. I'll have to listen to the replay. It's not looking good. Wilder is on the card watch, and we have to win. Oh well. Yeah, I said that last week. If he gets another one, and we so happen to advance, you got to watch out. Now he has 2. If he gets one and we advance, whether it's Miami or Atlanta, he's gone.
I don't know about you guys. If I'm Oscar, I don't play him for this game.
I play him the first half and take him out.
You have to. It's a winner tie game. You have to.
Yes, you
I
have
know,
to.
but here's the thing. If we can't win without him, guess what's going to happen the next game? Because if I need him for, I get it. But the thing is, if we play him against Charlotte, he gets another yellow. Guess what? We don't play him against either Miami or Atlanta.
Compose yourself, man. Even Caesar has held on and not got one. I mean, if Caesar can do it, anybody can do it. To me,
I didn't realize he was on 2. I only thought he had 1.
Yeah, him, Janssen, and Schlegel got one on Friday, but this Wilder's second because he got one the first game. I say play in the first half and hopefully we're up maybe 2-0 that, all right, second half, you don't even need to
If
come
I
out.
am Oscar, I'll take them for dinner, and I'll tell the we just and I tell and we just have a short come to Jesus moment and say, do not get a yellow, especially to Robin. Robin is one of those players that frustrates me so much because 90% of his yellows is talking back to the ref.
That's not what his yellow
Unnecessary.
was for. That's not what his yellow was for.
No.
His
What I'm
yellow
saying
was for
is
that
that,
random first foul he committed the entire
right,
match with the player. He was even
But-
with the player, and the player's stride took him into Janssen. It wasn't even a foul, and he gets a yellow card for it. Meanwhile,
But-
our guys are sitting there getting half murdered on the
But
pitch.
all yellows matter. All yellows matter. I'm gonna start printing t-shirts. All yellows matter, and they count the same. So we know that he has a tendency to do that. So that's what I will say. The fact of the matter, my friends, is that this requires all hands on deck to bring some of the terminology my old chief in the Navy will say. All hands on deck. One of the tricks or the keys to victory in naval battles is that everybody on the ship keeps it afloat, keeps it steering, and puts out the fires. And that's what we have to do. We got to put out the fires. We're gonna keep our ability to zigzag, and we got to fire. In naval battles, the guy that shoots more bullets to the other guy, it's the guy that wins. Sink the other ship. And my friends, I have to say, I was saddened to see us in Charlotte playing defensively. Did somebody tell Oscar, you win and you get to rest? No, but now we're not doing that. Now we're selling more hot dogs, more funnel cakes on Saturday because we have a third game. I guess maybe the guy in marketing and merchandising is loving it that we're having a third game at home. I'm certainly not, because we're wasting money on something that should have been a foregone conclusion. And John and I have John. How many? From now on, I need to like flip the little card every time we have this conversation. So on the fifth time, we get a free comb. That's probably what we're gonna have to do, my friend.
Yeah.
Because I have talked to John about this personally at the tailgate, on the wall, on this podcast, on chatting. I mean, it's something, my friends, that continues to happen because it's a problem that we have failed to address. And last, so you guys can go in depth with other things. Are we still talking about Luis Muriel? Luis Muriel, who I thought, maybe the guy will have a resurgence in because the guy is talented. We have seen that, but here in Orlando, he has been a non-factor. A man making $4 million to come off the bench to play 20 minutes. That to me is incredibly where we need to narrow down where we have failed this season. Once again, we did not get the DPs correct, and I guess it doesn't matter because Atlanta's doing it without him. But at the end of the day, we have some managerial decisions that have gone us zero results. And this Saturday, we may be seeing Charlotte celebrating in our home, and that will be embarrassing.
What scares me is Thor getting smoked every time ever since he came back from injury.
Yeah. We have one more comment, Misael.
Victor, you play the games in front of you. You put your best team out there. It's the playoffs.
Absolutely. I think we all agree. I was just saying that because my thought, I'm thinking a game ahead, but I get it.
Jim D, and we've missed the opportunity to play the backups and really
Mhm.
get them integrated. Yep. Are we going to start Heine or Koshevsky
in
in the
playoffs.
playoffs? All we have in the what is this?
Midfield.
Oh, we have. I don't know why I went somewhere else. I guess because we're frustrated. I went somewhere else. I drew a blank. All we have in the midfield is starters. Not good planning.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I mean,
And
I
to
guess-
go on the DPs, another failure that this club has had, while Poppy's been here, has been our DPs. We sure you can argue Torres. That was almost a given with what people knew about him coming up. But other than him, we haven't had a successful DP That scores goals, that changes the match, that you expect from the DP. Yeah, Pereira was great, but a DP is not a distributor. A DP is somebody that takes the whole team on his back and goes, all right, guys, we're going to win it, a.k.a. Nani. Look how many times Nani did that. Nani was not a poppy DP. He came the year prior. So, there's just another failure that we've had. We had Kara, supposed to be a world, a world beater with his goal scoring prowess. Didn't hit. We have Ojeda. Ojeda took 2 years for him to even see significant time on the pitch. And luckily it's worked out this year, but that was 2 years, a year or two. It was 2 years. No, it was 1 year that, we finally got him. And then he comes and sits the bench most of last year, sees maybe 10 or 15 minutes in the matches. We need a goal. Starts the season, same thing. And then we bring in Luis Muriel, who, like David said, hasn't done anything. I mean, good on him. I mean, if I could go out, I think he's a year younger than me. If I could go out and play 15 minutes or do 15 minutes of work and get paid a week and get paid, $4 million a year, I'd take that in a heartbeat. But
he's got the backup quarterback gig.
Yeah, but it's like, that's another thing that we haven't done.
I think your dad commented there.
Yeah.
Yep.
If it goes to PK's, no chance. Charlotte's keeper has been incredible. Yeah, I think he's up for goalkeeper of the year.
Yeah, he's the shoe-in for goalkeeper of the year this year.
We can't let it get to that.
Pedro had 2 insane saves. Otherwise, that game would have been 2-0. So, yeah, listen, I think we got too comfortable going to PKs for 13 years in a row that we thought we were invincible. PKs is the cruelest way to settle a game in any sport. I don't care what it is. It's like leaving it to luck. A lot of people get mad when we say football is a power of talent, an ounce of luck. On social media, they burn us all the time. They're like, oh my God, how dare you? These guys are professional. But at the end of the day, I mean, come on, it's just the lucky bounce, the curve of the ball. Sometimes things happen that all we have to attribute is to the random, the luck. And this goalkeeper saved 3 penalties. Do you know? In our team has lost 2 penalty shootouts this season. If we go to PKs, those guys are not going to be believing in themselves. The mentality is not going to be there. So instead,
you got to move Janssen down the list.
Right, for sure. Instead of doing that, let's go and score some goals. Listen, this is the 5 things that Orlando City has going for itself on this weekend. It's gonna be nice, temperature-wise. Exactly, man. Number 2, the fan base is gonna be there. Number 3, you slept in your own bed, and number 4, all you've been doing is practicing for this one game. All you gotta do is go and put the ball in between the 3 sticks. Imagine that. It's insane. Just go and play your game. Believe in yourself. I will tell them, look, just think about it. You're back home in the street with your buddies. The lights are about to turn on, and mama's going to call you for dinner. Next goal wins it. Let's go do that. Is that?
And that's the thing about this series is next goal will win it. Because we know Charlotte can't score against us. We've proved that for 3 straight games now? 3 straight matches. It was 3-0. Yeah. 3 straight matches. Charlotte hasn't scored a goal on us. They can't score against us. Period. Janssen has them on lockdown. Wilder and Cesar has their midfield on lockdown. We should come out Saturday and be guns a-blazing. We should have 10 shots with 5 on target by halftime. And I guarantee you we'll be up at least 1-0, if not 2 or 3-0.
To follow that, John, listen, guys, because I know they're watching. I know that the Pareja's brother-in-law is watching. My friend, you tell the prophet that I said this. Score some goals and look at section 3. You'll see a fat man that has been beaten by life, screaming, quite possibly tossing this child 10 feet up in the air. Please do that. Listen, this fan base doesn't ask for anything other than winning games. Winning games when they matter. Beat Charlotte, and if Atlanta beats Miami, how incredible will it be to beat a rival at home, a rival that beat another rival when the whole world was already polishing and edging the name on the trophy.
Oh,
I mean, I'm sorry. That will be insane. I just want the boys to believe that they can do it, because you know what? It gets tiresome to say, oh, maybe next year. Last year we had a beautiful chance and we crapped on it. So let's go and win the game.
yeah. I agree with you, David. I think my biggest concern with that is I don't think the mindset is there, because it's all about that mindset. The way the guys have been coming out, it's the talent is there. We have no doubt that we've seen that. What we're missing is that mindset, that winning mindset. You have to go out like you're going to win every single game, because because if we can score against Charlotte and they can't score against us, right? But scoring one goal against, regardless of who our next opponent is, whether it's Atlanta or Miami, one goal is not enough. We can't leave it to a decision. We can't leave it to a call. It needs to be, we need to put the nails in those coffins every single time. There can't be a question as to whether or not we deserve to be there.
Well,
And
even Rob,
that's the issue right now.
even
What's
after
that?
the Atlanta game, they interviewed Rob Valentino and they asked him, "What are you going to do for the next game to win?" And he said, "You have to score more than them.
Yeah. We
That's the
can't,
only way. Like you
we're
can't have
too
one
passive.
goal. You have to have several goals against that team."
Yeah. Um, yeah.
And I don't care if we win Saturday. I don't care who we go up against, whether it's Miami or Atlanta. We have to score at least 2 goals against those teams to even have a chance.
At least,
Mhm.
at least.
Mhm.
That's like
Correct.
to feel, not even to feel comfortable, but to be like, yes, we did it. I'll feel comfortable after the third goal.
And in the next round too, Red Bulls, Cincinnati, or No History FC, got to score goals against those. Well, Cincinnati, you really don't. We proved that. But
Cincinnati's playing like us.
yeah,
They're not looking
well,
too
no,
good.
it's not Cincinnati. Yeah, no, who's
Here you go. Here you go.
NYCFC playing?
I got you.
Thank you.
No problem.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
let's,
Cincinnati.
yeah.
Yep.
We
Yeah.
have to have the Ric Flair mentality. I'm the champion, and the guy next to me is the next guy is gonna get beat up. We have
Well,
to
just
believe
have a
in ourselves.
professional mentality about it, David. You know, you and I have said if we went into our jobs as haphazardly as those guys went into this past Friday, we would be fired within a couple days. Be a professional. Go out there. Your job is to win soccer games. Go out there and play with the mentality to win. Poppy, your job is to win soccer games. Go out there and play to win. Don't go out there and play not to lose, because you're probably going to lose unless you get lucky like we did in 2022.
It could be the language barrier, but and disgustingly talking about Atlanta again. But at the end of that game, Rob Valentino talking had me almost wanting to run through a wall for that guy. And I've never heard Poppy give a speech like that. Then again, his English, I get it. When he's interviewing on TV, obviously he's talking English, so he probably can't give as much passion as he would in Spanish. I just don't believe that guy's giving those type of speeches in the locker room. He seems too calm for me.
And it's funny you say that, because it just reminded me last year. I'm a huge Ohio State fan when they were playing Notre Dame, and my dad's a Notre Dame fan, and a closet Ohio State fan, but he's mainly a Notre Dame fan. And I was complaining about Ohio State's coach. Well, then Ohio State ended up winning barely, and Ohio State's coach comes on for the post game interview on the field, and gives just such a passionate speech to the reporter. And I jokingly said to my dad, greatest coach in Ohio State football history, but you felt that passion from him.
Yeah.
You felt it. I don't, even without the language barrier, and I don't understand a lick of spoken Spanish really. And I've never seen that passion outside of a match from Poppy, and even sometimes inside of the match, it's sparingly.
Yeah. This guy had me ready to run through a wall for them boys. He was giving his speech.
It doesn't
Yeah.
surprise me. He learned under Adrian Heath. For those that don't remember, Adrian Heath used to call in the morning to the radio shows, and that's how that stadium got filled to begin with. That man was a quote machine, and for Adrian, I will carry 2 gas cans full of petrol into hell and back for Adrian Heath. Adrian Heath is a legend in this town that was dealt a harsh hand because most of you wanted to win immediately, but he didn't have the staff, he didn't have the money, and then the same people that were complaining that he got fired were the ones crying over JOC and what's his name, Jason Price.
Jason Christ.
Yep.
And I forget who said it. My dad, when I was wanting to get into coaching, my dad told me, Ray, for those watching, so he can remind me. But there was a coach that said something like, about when you're at the higher levels in college and professionals, that coaching is more about the motivation and the belief the players have in you than the actual tactics. For instance, look at the U.S. national team. What did everybody say right before Berhalter got fired? Oh, this team needs a coach that they respect. They can't be buddy-buddy with the coach. All of that. That is very, very, very – you can still be buddy-buddy with the coach, but there has to be that element of fear in it. Mm-hmm. Between player and coach. It can't be, oh, he's my friend, he's got my – it's whatever. You have to be willing to absolutely run through a brick wall, like David and Misael are saying, for that coach. And if you're not willing to do that, then the coach, you might as well not even have the coach. And, Ahmed brought up the Columbus game that we had last year that we came back. And basically, I still feel that we won that game despite Poppy, not to spite, despite Poppy. I feel those players said, no, we're winning this game. We're doing our own thing. Yes, 2 goals did come off of free kicks, but I still feel the very end of that game went to a certain extent against what Poppy wanted them to do for that match.
Yeah, I agree. But it was all about that. That was the mindset. The guys were driven. They were the whole and the stadium fed off of it. So we have a couple of comments. I'll pop them up. Jim D said, did you guys notice how many bad turnovers we had in the midfield? ATL or Fort Lauderdale would have severely punished us for that. Absolutely. And I always say at this level, it's not about who the better team is. It's about who makes more mistakes and because the others will definitely capitalize on it.
Well, the second goal Atlanta got to beat Miami was a huge mistake that Miami made.
Yeah, that's what it's about. When you're at a professional level, it's not about who's better technically. It's about who makes a mistake first and can capitalize on it.
And on our part, Jim, to go off what you were saying, I saw that, and I was 100% about the lackadaisical mentality going into the match. A lot of those turnovers were just lackadaisical.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I see a lot of those during my U12 games. Just saying, sorry.
Hey guys, I gotta go, but I just wanna remind everybody, Saturday, if you can make it, I believe it's 6:00 at the stadium. Let's go support the boys. Maybe the last time we get to see them this year. Thank you again for watching us. I'm gonna obviously, if you're watching me, if you got audio, you already know who's next to me. But if you're watching, it's I just once again want to thank Misael and John and Ahmed, who have helped me out a lot, because obviously this person doesn't understand that she has to be asleep at a certain time. So with that said, see you guys. Thank you very much.
All right. See you, David.
Have a good one, David.
Yeah. Honestly, I don't think we have that much more anyway. We're going to be wrapping it up soon, but yeah, because at this point, I feel like it's beating a dead horse. But
well, I do want to say one positive thing. Don't pass out and fall out of sheets. I hope everybody was sitting down tonight for that. But if we beat Charlotte on Saturday, and if we beat Atlanta, or if Atlanta beats Miami this weekend, I 100% feel, I want to hear what you guys say. I 100% feel that we have the Eastern Conference to lose. We have beat every other team, I believe, that is left in the playoffs. It'd be us, take out Atlanta, but take out our game. But on the other side, you would have New York, Cincinnati, or NYCFC. I have a feeling Cincinnati's going to wrap it up at home, as they should. So then you have Cincinnati and Red Bulls, and I feel way more confident about playing those two teams than playing a New York City team. But I really feel if Atlanta beats Miami, there's no excuse for us not to win the Eastern Conference. And heck, if New York City beats Cincinnati, even more, even though I wouldn't be the most confident, even more so, we have home field advantage then through the
Throughout the whole
playoffs
thing.
until the
Yeah.
final,
Yeah.
until the league final.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. That I agree with you as well. If it goes that way, yes, I feel very confident. It's in our hands, and like you just said, that's what I was gonna touch on. That other than Cincinnati, we'd be home the rest of the way until obviously we make it all the way to the Cup. If one of those LA teams make it, then obviously they'd be at home. But yeah, I mean,
And honestly, sorry, I
it'd be
didn't mean
here.
to cut you off.
Now, go ahead. Go ahead.
I said, and honestly, the last 2 years, I'd almost rather play Cincinnati because the last 2 years when they've played here, they've won. When we've played there, we've won,
Yeah.
right? I think we
You're right.
lost
Yep.
at home last year against them. And
Mhm.
I know we lost this year because we got Schlegel got that red card early in the match.
Yep. You know what? You're right. I mean, it would be ours to lose in that sense, but so much of it depends on that mindset that we go into the game with. That's my fear, because on paper, everything that makes sense would say, yes, this is yours to lose. But so was that last game that we just played. That's the part that really, really kills me.
Well, we can't forget that whole 2 weeks off, and you know how we always come
Oh,
back.
that's a whole other
When we have
story.
that
And
layoff,
I
and we
fully
come
believe
back.
that they did that to benefit Miami because of their, their
Because of
aging
their tough
players
schedule.
there.
Because of their tough schedule.
I mean, I know people might say, "Oh, you guys are just crying about it," but I agree with you. I agree with you. I think they did that making the first game when who was it? Atlanta.
Atlanta.
Yeah, where they played like what, on Monday or Tuesday, and immediately Friday they had to play Miami. I thought that was nuts. They
And
only had like 2 days
look at
off.
what Atlanta did.
Yeah.
And look at what Atlanta did, man. I mean, yeah. Anyway.
But yeah, I mean, I think if yeah, like you said, if we take care of Charlotte, and somehow Atlanta beats Miami, I mean, we're home. I mean, we're home.
Yeah.
Imagine that. Imagine a conference final match at Explorer Stadium. People thought the U.S. Open Cup final was crazy.
Oh my god, that would be crazy.
Yeah,
that would be nuts. That would be nuts.
I mean, it's what you ask for as a fan. That's all we're asking for when we complain so much about Poppy's tactics and about the beginning of the season and all this. Is we just want to see the team succeed and be able. It's honestly extremely selfish of us to expect so much out of the team, because that's what we thrive for. That's what we want, is to have those experiences and be able to support our team in those situations. And unfortunately, I hate to say it, but they haven't given us a reason to believe that.
Well, you
cool.
always want to see progress, and I think, to touch on what you just said, I think it has to do with also, well, in my opinion, is seeing teams that came in with us or even after us and already win it. So where and then we keep falling back in the same spot: first round, second round, first round, second round, and then you start thinking, okay, like, what's going on here? Like, don't tell me it takes seven, just because Toronto took, what was it? Toronto took like 7 years when they're in their
Chicago's never
MLS
won one.
to make it, but it took like 7 years for them to make it to the
Mhm.
playoffs. I think before before the first time they made it to the playoffs. I don't care. Other teams have come with us or after us, and they have won already, or at least made it. And so it can be done. I mean, the whole
And Columbus
theory
has done it,
people
what,
think like
3
it
times?
takes say it again.
Twice? Columbus has won it twice since we've been in the league.
Yeah, 2
And
or 3, like in 5 years.
Yeah,
Too,
and
like in the
they were
last
so
5
bad they
years.
almost moved the team out of the city.
Yeah, it can be done. They turned it around like that. You can do it. It's just, you know what? The whole thing is to touch on the Wilfs though. It does seem does seem like they're kind of content. I don't know. I mean, the stadium is almost full every game. I mean, we're making the playoffs every year. A bit of me tells me that they're happy the way it is.
And I mean, if we take that step, to me, that's 100% okay. If we make it to the finals, or if we, even the conference finals, that's the step. That's the next step, is making the conference finals. Next step is making the, and I'm thinking about this, very, I'll say, methodically, but that's how it is. Think about the U.S. Open Cup. We made it all the way to the U.S. Open Cup semifinal, and was it 2019? And then lost to Atlanta. Then a couple, several years later, we won the cup. It's just about getting those, getting those steps and getting, checking off those check boxes, if you will.
Yeah.
And, until you do, and then we win an MLS Cup. What's next? Oh, well, we need to advance further in CONCACAF. We need to, and then once we advance further in CONCACAF, then we need to make the finals. But this team has this coaching staff has not given me personally anything to inspire me to believe that they're going to be there to make that next step.
I mean, as Columbus fans, they just got eliminated by the Red Bulls. Was this season? Well, they won Leagues Cup, right? But
made
besides
CONCACAF Champions Cup final as well.
Yeah. So, I mean, I guess that defeats what I was going to say, but I was going to say, they just got eliminated by the Red Bulls in the first round. Is this considered a successful season?
No,
I
I know for a fact, because I've seen it on Twitter or X, whatever. They do not consider it a success.
Yeah.
Wow. Wow.
They've won the cup. At least
Why,
they're
man? But
back
they
to
made
it.
it. They made it to the playoffs.
Because
Yeah.
coming from
I'm just
Ohio, I'll
being
tell
funny.
you 100% why, Ahmed.
No, I know, man.
This is Columbus is a city. You have Ohio State there.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I
There's
know. I was
two objectives in that city for Ohio State: beat the team up north and win the national championship. If you don't do one of those two,
go home.
Season's a waste. Their coach the Ohio State's coach has made. He's been coaching for, I think, 5 years now. And I think 3 of those 5 years, he's made the college football playoffs and made a national championship game appearance. Ohio State is talking about firing him because he's lost 3 straight games to their rival, the team up north. And I'm not going to say their name because this is public. But the team up north, if you guys need to know who that is, look up Ohio State team up north. It'll come up plenty of times. And that's what these fans are used to. That's how these fans are bred. Coming from Cincinnati. Cincinnati considered last year a failure. A lot of them did, because they didn't do terribly well in the playoffs. They expected to win the MLS Cup.
Mm-hmm. Hey guys, you got a couple of comments. Sorry.
Yeah, and so I mean, it's literally a mentality thing. That's all it is. Fan base to fan base is a mentality thing. You either want your team to succeed, or you just want them to be there so there's something to do on the weekend. And for Orlando fans, unfortunately, that's what it is, because I guess you get tired of going to Disney, Universal, SeaWorld, or the beaches.
All right, Misael, hit us up with the comments.
Serge Nash, Papi must play like his life depends on it. So far, it looks like he's got 10 years left on his contract. Yeah. He also says, I'm still Papi out. Stagnation.
Yeah, man.
I mean, he has to, like John said, he has to prove us wrong.
Absolutely. I mean, you know what? I feel like the team is a reflection of him, right? So when they come out, that mindset is a reflection of who? The coach. The coach is who sets the direction, right? And I'm not one to typically go down that path, but we talk about the guys like this. The guys, I'm sure, if 90% of these guys were to go somewhere else, would be like, wow, why didn't they play like that here? And we've seen it in the past. Right?
Giacchini, is that how you say it? He went
to
St. Louis for the World Cup, and he's doing pretty well in Cincinnati as well.
So, as much as I'd hate to say it, a big part of what the output that we see from the players because everybody's quick to jump on the players. Oh, get rid of so and so, get rid of so and so. You get rid of these guys, and then they go out and they do better elsewhere. There's got to be a point where you say, okay, it has to do with the leadership of the team. You can't ignore it. I'm not saying he's not a good guy, but there something needs to change about the way the team is being led. If you're not a Poppy out person, or if you are a Poppy out person, you can't argue that something doesn't need to change about the way the team is approaching things, right? Especially when we go out to a game like we did, that should have been like turning a brand new page. This playoffs, I always say it's like starting over, and it's the same old thing, right? Why are we at a game 3 that should have been over in 2?
Absolutely.
Tell me that, and I'll whatever. Really, seriously, if you can explain to me why we're at a game 3 when it shouldn't have been, I was at the game, at the first game, talking with people, and they're like, "Oh, are you going to go to the Miami game?" I'm like, "We need to worry about game 2." Guess what? I hate to be right, but I was right. I would like to eat my words, but I can't, because we can't
Andre Perea,
underestimate.
another guy. I thought that's who it was. Pretty sure he starts for New York City now.
Yes,
That's another guy. People were
amazing player. And you want to hear something funny? My son plays for a U12 team. His coach is his dad. His dad.
Oh, okay.
Amazing player. But when he was here, people were like, "Oh, he's not doing anything. Look at him at New York City now." Imagine if he comes back here, and we at some point end up facing NYCFC here at home, and he scores on us, and that's can you imagine? Like, I don't want it to happen, but can you imagine? So what is he? What is it then? What is it?
Oh, when I saw Joe Keeney, the way he was playing in St. Louis, I thought I was watching Messi or Ronaldo. My jaw dropped. I was like, "What is this?"
You watch him when I think he was in Italy. You watch what he was doing in Italy before he joined us, and it was like, we're getting a player that could completely change something. Mm-hmm. And then he sits the bench the whole the whole time he's here.
Yeah, Serge Nash just said, on second year of Poppy's success, I dropped 1 season ticket. This year I renewed 1 less again. And you know what? To your point, Misael, I think as far as the Wilfs go, that's the only part that they understand.
I think they're content. I mean, the stadium is, every game we're getting between 17, 20,000 people in there. Made it to the playoffs 5 years in a row, which we're only one of 3 teams currently that have done that.
Who are the other 2 teams, Marcel? Do you know off the top of your head? I'm just wondering.
I do not know. I can't remember. But yeah, we're one of 3 to make it 5 years in a row. So I guess business wise, it's a success.
Oh yeah, it's an absolute success, man. Come on.
Yeah. So, I'm hoping that's not the case. I'm hoping when this season ends, win or lose, I'm hoping that they try to upgrade the team. Get some better guys in here, and to try to get over that hump. Even if it is Poppy still here, give them something more to work with. Give them some other guys. Give them some better players. I don't know, but something's got to give.
But you say give him better players, Misael, and you look at the players that we have in the national teams that they get selected for. Torres gets selected for Paraguay. Wilder gets selected for Peru. Cesar gets selected for Uruguay. Gillespie gets selected for Peru. Gillespie and Cartagena, you knew that coming in. Torres, you kind of knew that because of his experience with the U20s and U22s for Uruguay. But you look at the guys, the talent that we have, their national teams see it, and then they come here, and yes, Araujo is a fantastic midfielder. Facundo, it takes him 3 months to get going. I mean, just imagine, he would be, if he started half as hot as he finished the year, he'd be an MVP.
Oh yeah, MVP, Golden Boot. Who knows? The sky's the limit.
Yeah, I mean, he's on 14, 15 goals this season. Yeah. And basically half the season, I think
Benteke just got it with what 23, I think.
Yeah,
Yeah.
something
So
like that.
if he starts off the way he plays now in the beginning, oh yeah, this guy's MVP easily, like you said, easily.
Hmm. And the funny thing about Friday's match, that I thought afterwards is Friday's match was a perfect mirror image of this season. We started off slow, looked real sluggish, and then our backs were against the wall. It was looking like we weren't going to make playoffs, and then all of a sudden, bam, we were getting we got chances Saturday. We started winning in the regular season, and to me, we've questioned why the team starts so slow, and it finally clicked. Friday, we start slow because of the mentality coming into the season. Oh, let's just not lose the games at the beginning of the season. And what happens? We lose 1-0. We lose a game that we're up 1-0, 2-1. We give up a 2-0 lead and it ends up being a draw. I mean, which match was that, last year or this year? I think that we were up 3-0. I believe it was on New England, and then they scored too late, and it was like everybody kind of took it, started holding their breath because they're like, "Are we really going to do this again?" And it's like Serge said, it's stagnation. It's been the same thing at least 3 years in a row. And like I said, if you go back to the MLS's back final, this is Friday's exactly the way the team looked in that final. Because I was just thinking back I was you guys saw it in our group chat. I was very, very, very agitated. And so I started looking back, like when did they start playing like, when did they start playing like this? Because they did well in the MLS's back tournament. We made it to the second round of our first playoffs ever. And then I thought, well, we kind of looked the same way we did Friday in that second round of our first playoffs in 20. And then I went back. I'm like, okay, what's the important game before that? Oh, wait, MLS's back final. Same exact way that we looked Friday. It was like you're sitting there, and it's, when we had the watch party with Lions, then it was the same thing. It's like, what are we doing here?
Mm-hmm.
And it's it's just it's stagnation. It's been the same thing year after year after year. Is it fun when we go on these streaks at the end of the year? Heck yes, it is. Is it fun watching, at halftime during the match to see what the rest of them are doing? Yes, it is. But I'd rather be looking in July and September, because we take basically the whole month of August now off for the cash grab tournament. And instead of saying, oh, are we moving up to 6th, or are we dropping to 9th or 10th? I'd rather see, oh, are we moving up to 1st, advancing our lead in 1st? Or are we, are we losing,
Mm-hmm.
or are we not advancing our lead? That's what, as a fan, you should want. And it's, it's been the same thing year after year after year. We can go back and play the episodes. I'm sure David and I sound like a broken clock, March, April, and May.
Yeah, man.
I mean, it's,
It'll keep happening if Facundo continues to start slow. I think this team goes where he takes them. I think if we look back, he has not shown up on a lot of big games, probably more than he has. Friday was another big game, to close the series, and yeah, it was called offsides. I get the goal, but other than that, I mean, he didn't do much.
And I'm just going to say this, not to go down another rabbit hole, but why doesn't the MLS have the lines like almost every other major league in the world has?
It bothers me, the camera on the
Because you can't you can argue, you can't argue that, John. You can't argue it.
I guess you can't sit there and call Messi onside when when it's crucial. I guess that's you can't fix that.
Yeah, the camera in the goal, so where you can see if it crossed the the entire ball.
Oh, and the goal line technology.
Yeah, I don't understand why we don't have any of that.
We're one of the richest, if not the richest country in the world, and we don't take advantage of the resources we have around us.
Still using flip phones.
Yeah, and exactly. We're in more ways than one. We're still using flip phones.
It's like we're still using
the cars that we pay for to to do our work for us. We're buying 30-year-old used Toyota Corollas with 330,000 miles on it.
Yep.
Yeah. And everybody else is on iPhones and stuff, and we're using flip phones over here. I don't get it.
Or I'm sorry, yeah, 300, 330, 340. I said that because that's how old Messi was when he joined the league, 33.
All right, gents. So closing
Yep.
thoughts for the upcoming game. Misael?
Just win. I will say for Friday and Saturday, just win. I will be there at the Pride supporting the girls on Friday,
Yes.
and for the guys too, man. Just everybody, whoever can show up, just show up to either game, both games. Support them. Hopefully, they come with a different mentality. Um, I mean, a lot of times when our back is against the wall like this, we do come through. So I'm gonna be positive. What bothers me is that I have to always say that. Is that I feel like we always do come through when our backs against the wall. I mean, how many times we've been down on games and we come back, like the Columbus game we were talking about. Why does it take that? We don't know. But for some reason, when we're down like this, is when they actually wake up. So hopefully Saturday is that. Hopefully Saturday is when they wake up because their back is against the wall.
Absolutely. John?
Just win. I mean, it goes down to the same thing. Go back to any of the greats in sports and team sports, the guys, or even individual sports, the guys that were known to be dominant, your Michael Jordan, Kobe Bryant, Tiger Woods, Roger Federer, Mike Tyson. Imagine those guys. Imagine Mike Tyson coming out, winning the first 2 rounds and then coming out the 3rd round and going, I don't really need to, I'll just half-ass this one. It's not important.
And get knocked out.
Imagine Tiger Woods, the middle 6 holes on Sunday going, I got a 2-stroke lead. I'll just cruise through this. Never going to happen. Every one of those guys that I mentioned wanted to crush you in their sport, any sport. Honestly, they played. You ask people when Tiger Woods plays or when Michael Jordan plays golf, he wants to crush you. When Tiger Woods played or plays basketball, he wants to crush you. I mean, just look what Mike Tyson's doing for a exhibition match, and he's almost 60 years old. That's the attitude these guys have to have the remainder of the playoffs. And if they give us something to hang our hat on for a full 90 minutes, even if we do lose, even if the roll of the dice doesn't go our way, and we lose in regulation, but dang it, the boys were right there. Give us at least that. Don't give us what we had Friday. And even if, let's say, it goes into penalties, but at least have that full 90 minutes that we haven't had this entire season. Correct me if I'm wrong. We have not had a full 90 minutes this entire season. Give us that to hang our hat on. And if we lose in PKs, we lose in PKs.
Yeah, absolutely. I couldn't agree with you more. It's not about the outcome. It's about how we go into this match and how we're playing. And I've always said that I don't care. Not that I don't care if we don't win. Of course, I want us to win. But if we're going to lose, I want us to go down fighting like it was our last game ever. And that shouldn't be because it was the playoffs, right? I'm talking about even the regular season. Every game when we come out to leave it all out there. So because that's what you do for the fans. The fans will come out there to see you lay it all out, right? Every single game. That's what it's about. That's you're doing as the players what we as fans can't do. You're like, oh my God, that's amazing. That's what we want. That's all any fan wants is just to see you put it all out there, and we get it. It's not easy, but that's why we're sitting out there watching you.
Yeah.
No, seriously though, but that's what it is. That's why athletes are so special. It's because they can do those things and that's their specialty, right? That's what you do. It's like you're a warrior. It's like go fight, man. Just do it.
Heck, don't even do it for the fans. I'm going at this, probably a little deeper than I should. Do it for yourself.
Oh,
have a little pride in your craft and what you're doing. Do it for yourself and go out there and at least look like you're trying.
Absolutely. All right. Well, I think we beat a dead horse.
Yeah.
Please, everybody, go out and support the two teams this weekend. And we hope to see you there. So I will leave you reminding you the only way we know how that football is played on grass, not on paper, that football is cruel and unpredictable, as these past few weeks have shown, that football is a pound of talent and an ounce of luck. And if you haven't cried for joy or anger over football, have you really footballed? So for John, David, Misael, and myself, may God bless you. And as always, vamos.